Thank you for joining us. I'm China Green. Our top story here at noon. 32,000 Boeing machinists are voting in a new contract deal. That vote started at 8 this morning. The latest offer includes a 35% pay increase over 4 years, reinstating an annual bonus and a one-time company contribution of $7,000 to machinists' 401ks. Some union members say that they will vote yes. If enough do, it will end the strike that has lasted well over a month. But others say that they're holding out for the return of a pension.
I think there's a lot of momentum to continue the strike because they're not meeting our needs, they're not listening to us. The pension is one issue, the pay package is another issue.
The union says if its members approve the contract, machinists could return to work as early as this Friday. In the meantime, Boeing reporting a third quarter loss of $6 billion. The loss was reported in an earnings report for the fiscal quarter that ended last month. So that means only the first 2 weeks of the machinist strike, which started on September 13th, were part of this report. All right, it's time to take a look at Rod Hill's winter outlook. You have putting so much time and energy in this. It was fantastic to see it unfold this morning, and you're going to give us a recap just right now. Yeah, let me hit the bullet points. And you've probably heard of the first one, La Nina winter, but in my complete report, which I hope you'll listen to, I talk about the fact that we may not actually get to La Nina. It hasn't arrived yet. It was supposed to arrive months ago. If it does arrive, it's noted for active winters for us because the jet stream typically, not every single day, but typically enters the U.S. over the Pacific Northwest, up in Oregon and Washington. Now, I know what you're wondering. Are we going to have a big storm? Let's take a trip down memory lane to January of this year, last January. And remember the storm that turned out to be almost all ice. It was a combination of sleet and freezing rain with just a dab of snow initially. Well, this winter, let's go ahead and come back to graphics. I think if we get a big winter storm, we're going to see the opposite. I don't see ice this year. If we do get a big storm, it's going to be pretty much all straight snow. So here are the headlines for Portland. And number one, much drier than last winter. And when I say winter, I'm talking about the rainy season for Portland, November through March, okay? So last year we were actually wet. We were about 6.5 inches above normal. We had a good water year. This year, closer to 20 inches instead of 30. It would be just a little bit below normal, but a big departure from the wet year we had a year back. And as I mentioned just a moment ago, any big storms would be mainly snow, not ice. I don't really see a lot of confidence in the temperature department, which brings me to the Mount Hood snowpack forecast. And this is great news. Last year we made the point of telling you that it was going to be a slow start to the season. In fact, we said it could be a Christmas week. We're at Government Camp in Ski Bowl. There's literally no snow on the ground. That's the way Christmas week began a year ago. But this year, the opposite. A good, healthy start. I think we start building good, solid bases for recreation as early as December 10th. And I think by Christmas week, 75 at Timberline, 63 Meadows. Last year, Christmas week, Ski Bowl had nothing. This year, I think they're pushing 40 inches. So that would be absolutely terrific news. And if you're wondering how I do all of this, it starts with recognizing, are we in a La Nina, El Nino, or neutral season? I talk more about that in my complete report. And then I put some comparison years together. This year, 7 years make the comparison list, including 2008-9. 2008 was the December that it snowed 19 inches in Portland. Could that happen again? I know, China, you're going to tell people how they can see my complete report. For now, that's it for me. You got it, sir. Rod's Winter Outlook will be available to watch later today on KGW+. That's where you can also find an extended version with viewer questions. Look for that again on KGW+. The man accused of jumping out of bushes and attacking a jogger on the Springwater Trail on Portland's east side last month has been indicted on attempted sexual abuse and public indecency charges. So police say the woman was jogging down the trail when 33-year-old Anthony Hill, right there, rode by on his bike, hid in a bush further down the trail, and jumped out in front of her, fondling himself. Authorities say Hill tried to grab the woman, but she was able to get away.
We certainly empathize with this woman. That had to be a very terrifying experience for her. And we are relieved as a bureau that this individual is now behind bars.
I would never go early morning or late evening. Since I'm riding today, I'm riding at a time where I would expect to see other riders and joggers on the path.
I feel like it's an iffy kind of a thing. I probably wouldn't jog. I might bike.
Court records show Hill also faced indecency charges in 2020 and 2021 and pleaded guilty. He's currently in the Multnomah County Jail. A 12-year-old is in custody in Central Oregon after bringing a loaded gun to school. It happened Monday morning at Pilot Butte Middle School in Bend. Investigators say the student told a school employee that they had a gun. The school's resource officer took that gun and took that student into custody. According to officials, the student brought it from home, and one parent has been cited for improper storage of a firearm. The U.S. Department of Education Office for Civil Rights has launched a federal investigation into Portland State University. This is over a flyer that was posted on campus. The Oregonian first reported on the anti-Palestinian fires over the summer, equating supporters of Palestine with murderers and terrorists and referencing, quote, Muslim Nazis. The investigation is under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits discrimination based on race, color, or national origin. In a statement, PSU President Ann Cudd called the flyers derogatory and vile and said that they were removed as soon as they were discovered. And the family of a man stabbed to death on a MAX train while on his way home from work is now suing TriMet for more than $1.5 million. Alma McCarty has an update as the man accused of murdering Michael Brady awaits his day in court.
March 29th, 2024, during the evening commute. That's when police say a man stabbed 51-year-old Michael Brady seemingly out of nowhere on board an eastbound MAX train. Brady died at the scene, at the 82nd Avenue Transit Station platform.
Just coming home from work, I was working at a hotel in downtown Portland. Working guy, providing for a kid and a wife, and just didn't make it home. Michael Fuller of the Underdog Law Office now represents his estate in a newly filed wrongful death lawsuit against TriMet. It's pretty clear that our transportation systems are not as safe as they could be and not as safe as they should be. He says this deadly attack, claiming the life of a loving father and husband, was preventable. But if you can't make the train safe, then you at least need to warn passengers that, you know, if you're providing for a family or you need to live to see another day, you may not want to ride this train, or you may want to ride in pairs or take other safety precautions. A spokesperson for TriMet told KGW they don't comment on pending litigation. Meantime, the suspect, 52-year-old Shondell Larkin, awaits the murder trial behind bars in Multnomah County Jail. The families that lose loved ones to violence like this, I don't see them ever really feeling justice. Fuller says while compensation of up to $1.6 million would go a long way for Brady's family, no amount of money can bring him back. I don't think win, lose, or draw the verdict ever really makes him feel that much better. Alma McCarty, KGW News.
McDonald's has removed the Quarter Pounder from its menu after it was linked to an E. coli outbreak. The outbreak is affecting 10 states, including Oregon. And according to the CDC, at least 49 people have gotten sick. 10 have been hospitalized now. One person has died. The CDC and McDonald's believe the outbreak may be linked to slivered onions used in Quarter Pounders that are sourced from a single supplier. Portland police in the city of Portland are partnering with the DEA to get prescription drugs off the streets this weekend. On Saturday, they're collecting solid forms of prescription drugs and over-the-counter medications. It's part of National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, a day to prevent medication misuse across the U.S. You can drop off your unneeded medications at the Kelly Building on East Burnside this Saturday from 10 to 2. Oregon State University has a new state lab, state-of-the-art here, to test grapes impacted by wildfire smoke. The new wine smoke lab can tell winemakers the type of smoke and how each different grape is impacted. When winemakers send in their grapes to OSU, they're first made into wine before researchers test that wine for different smoke compounds. Each sample costs around $400, but it has a quick payoff. Instead of waiting weeks for results, researchers can get them back within a matter of days.